Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to make the API call using the retrofit and getting the response back and displayed on the recycler view. So here we'll be using retrofit, recycler view, and the Kotlin. So first of all, I have created one main activity like the empty project, and we are going to use this. So let's start with adding the dependencies in our build.gradle file. So I'm adding the basic dependency, which is for the retrofit, as we are going to use retrofit here. And with retrofit, we need the converter as well. We'll be using the JSON converter. And we are going to use the Picasso for getting the images and displayed on the recycler view. So let's sync our project. Now let's create one Kotlin object class. So that will return us the instance of our retrofit. So object means it is gonna be the singleton. I'm creating a function get retro instance, so that will return us the instance of retrofit library. We need to pass a base URL. So let's create one base URL. So I am going to use the GitHub API. So we need to use this URL in our API as the base URL. So let me create an variable. And then we need to add the converter factory. That's we are going to use the JSON, but it's up to you. If you want to use the Moshi, then you can use the Moshi. And this part of the URL is going to be from our interface. So let's create one interface. So we'll utilize this part of URL in our get API call. We'll create a function, make API call. Let's import this get. And this is gonna be the part of our URL. And this q is after question mark is going to be our query parameter. So we'll use query and then we'll pass this q. It will automatically add question mark in the URL. And then the ny, that is the parameter value which is going to pass from the UI. And that will return us the object of call, that is retrofit, and the object, let's create our data class now. We can give any name. And it's gonna be the, let's take a look in the API. So it's an object of items. So it have like we are going to display each object on our recycler view. So it's an array, and we are going to use name and URL and description. These three parameters we are going to show on our recycler view. So it has the items array. So we'll pass items here with same name, and it's gonna be the type of array. And then we need to create another data object, and we need to pass some name here, but we are going to use name. So we'll use the exact value which which is the part of our JSON, and the description. And third parameter is gonna be the avatar URL, but this belongs inside the object of owner. So we need to create a one more data class. Let's give it a name owner and create one more data class with the name owner, and it's going to use this avatar URL as the exact value. Now we'll use this API response in our interface. Now let's create one more class that is going to be our view model. So we'll be making the API call using this view model. So let's implement this view model by extending class name view model, and we need to declare a variable that is going to be our live data. We'll use this live data to observe the result which we are going to get from the API call. We need to initialize this in the init block. Now one function which is going to return this observer. And now one function which is going to make the API call. And here we are going to use this retrofit instance and the retrofit service. So retrofit instance, give retro instance will return us the object of retrofit library. And it's gonna return us the instance of retro service, and retro service will having a query parameter. So we need to get the query parameter from our activity, and we'll pass that. And it's going to return us object of call. Now we'll enqueue it so that we can override two functions of retrofit. Here we'll be overriding on response and on failure. So these two functions getting called when we see some like getting the success response, then we get this on response call. If there are something wrong with the API call, then on failure get called. And then we'll call live data dot post value, and we'll be passing the response dot body. In case of else, maybe response is not successful, then we'll pass the null, and we'll keep checking the null on our UI. Same thing we can do it on failure. So our view model is ready to use. Let's go back to our main activity and initialize this view model. Before that, let's work on our UI in the layout file. We'll add the recycler view here. And we don't need multiple constraint, and give it an ID to this recycler view. You can give any name. And This is our main activity. Now, first thing we need to uh, initialize our recycler view. So we need to extract the ID which we have defined inside our layout file. And then we need to set the layout manager to our recycler view. So it's gonna be linear layout manager. And now I'm adding just the separator just to show the line in each record. We'll attach this divider to our recycler view. And now we need to add an adapter to our recycler view. But we don't have an adapter right now. So we'll come back and create a adapter. So let's create a adapter class. For adapter, we need to extend this using the RecyclerView.adapter, and we need to pass our view holder. So my view holder, we are going to create a class inside this adapter. We'll come back to this. Before that, let's implement all these overridden functions. So my view holder is showing red line because we haven't created that class. So let's create that first. And this need to be extended with the view holder. We'll come back to this class and implement it later, but before that, let's uh, inflate our layout. And we don't have any layout file yet, so let's create one layout file. We can give any name to our layout file. So in this layout file, we are going to add one image on the left, and on right hand side we are going to use a text view. So first let me add an image. We can give any ID. One image is going to be like a small size. So I'm giving it as a size of 100 EP. Now another layout is to add vertically to text view so that we can show the name from the JSON and the description. Inside this layout manager, just do text views, that's it. Max line 3, it is just because like we may get some long description in a JSON response, so we're limiting it. Now we can pass the layout file. So we have our layout file ready. We can inflate that, and third parameter is parent and false, and it's gonna return us the object of view. Inside the on bind view holder, we need to bind this, and we don't have the bind function yet, so we need to create a bind function here. Inside this we need a data, so we already created a data class, so we need the one object from our array list, so it's gonna be type of a recycler data, so it's gonna hold the recycler response. So let's see, it's gonna be the array list of our recycler data, and we can set up this data from our main activity. And we'll update the recycler view. Now this get item count will return the count of these items. Now we can pass one object at a time to this bind function. We have the position. We'll pass it. Inside our view holder bind function, we need to extract all the values from our layout file. So the ID we have defined inside our recycler view layout row, we need to extract those image view and the text view. So we can take a look what ID we have defined. It's name for text view. Same thing we'll do for the description. And third one, we have the image. We'll pass the same ID. And we'll change here to image view. Now we'll set the data to our text view. Text equal to data dot name, and same thing for the description. And for image, here we are gonna use our library which we have defined inside our Gradle file. So first we'll read the URL from the JSON response, and now we'll pass that URL to our Picasso library that will be downloading the image and displaying it on this image view. It's not identifying, it's not allowing me to import. Let's take a look in our Gradle file. Picasso, okay, I missed, I did not write correct package name. So let me resync our project, come back to our adapter. Now there you go. Now we'll load URL which we got from the JSON response. automatically download this image using this URL and set it to the image view. Now let's attach our adapter to our recycler view now. And next step is we need to initialize our observers by initializing our view model. So we'll call that function as well. So here first thing we need to do, we need to initialize our view model. Here we'll passing our view model class, which we have already created. It is showing some error. What's missing? Let's grab the same name. I think colon is missing one. Yep. Now view model will get the observer which we have created inside our view model and set up the observer on it. So we got the live data from our view model and then setting and keep observing that. So if, as we mentioned, response is not null, because in case of failure, we are returning the null value from the view model. So that's what the reason we are checking here, not null. And let's define this adapter as the global variable so that we can set data once we retrieve JSON response, we can set it to our adapter as well. So we created one function, update data. Here we can update this it8.items. In case of else, we can show a toast message, because in else case it will come only when we did not get the success response or we failed to retrieve the data. So we'll display error in getting the data from API, and then we'll show it. And at the end of this, we need to call view model.makeAPI call, and we need to pass one parameter. Remember, in URL we had ny, so we can pass any value from here. We can add anything, and based on this query parameter, it will make the API call. So let's review. We have service, retro service. We have API response data class, which is going to return us array list. We have our view model, which have live data, and it has the API call using retrofit. And then inside main activity, we initialize view model and we initialize the recycler view. And now the most important, don't forget it, we need to add the internet permission in our manifest file. Let's add this before we run this application on phone. So let's run and see how it look like. There you go. So we are able to make the API call successfully, and we can see the list. We are able to download the image and display the name and the description. Let's pass some other value. I'm passing del, and let's see if this list got changed. And there you go. So now we can see the updated list here. So as I mentioned earlier, this is the query parameter value which we can pass from the UI, and that will download the data based on this query parameter. So guys, that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Thank you.